the Happy Hour Podcast with your host, Joel Fleischman.
Welcome to the Joel Fleischman Happy Hour Podcast, episode number 58.
Woo!
I have friends here, Chris and Julie. Woo!
Yay!
All right, cheers.
Cheers.
Instead of going yay, we just crack a beer.
Oh, sorry.
All right, so what are we all
Cheers,
drinking
everybody.
here?
Well, I've got horse medicine. Apparently, it's amazing. And this is actually my first time having it, so.
So she's a Busch Light drinker.
I
We're going to
am.
get real feedback made in Central Waters.
Not bad. Not bad. Tastes
As
like
far as a craft beer,
it's not Busch Light. It's more beer flavor.
yeah, it's beer
Yeah,
flavored.
it's
It's a craft beer. It's a real
flavored beer.
Odd.
Who'd have thunk?
Who'd have thunk? Who came up with such craziness?
Mm-hmm.
It's a
Right.
non-watered down beer.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Crazy.
Like I'll drink it. Like,
Yeah, it's like
yeah.
drinkable, right? Like you're not going to be like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna barf on
No, of course
the
not.
hops
Look,
or
it's
something.
second drink already.
Yeah, so it can't be
Sounds
bad.
like you need to be
And how about
product
and what do you got there, Chris?
I've got the Blue Door Sea Sport Cream, so we'll give that a shot. That's really good.
That is.
I like that.
It's ridiculous cream, isn't it?
That is a really good.
Look at that smile. That's
Wait,
like
is
a
that
12-year-old
beer or
smile. Soda.
Cream soda is good.
I think that's the
It
best
is.
cream soda I've
That's
ever had.
legit.
Like that's a legit cream soda.
For sure.
Yeah. And then I have the Rift India Pale Ale, brewed in Canada from our friends, our sponsors in Amherst, Wisconsin, Central Water Breweries, Ale, Sun, Earth, and Sky.
Ooh.
They are real hippies, those owners up there. If you've ever
Fancy.
been up there, they are true hippies. So this is the Rift. I'm not a pale ale guy, but
And
you know, it's pale ale, so it's got that hop and bitterness at the end.
sure.
But having said that, it's got like some flavor to it. Like I'll definitely drink this.
Nice.
Not all the ales, not all the pale ales are bad. It's not all super hoppy. Oh, that's hoppy.
I was talking with somebody about that earlier today too, and it's just everything. There isn't a good wheat beer out there anymore. Not a lot of them, anyways, because everything's gone the IPA route.
Mm-hmm.
Horse medicine, that's it.
That's
That's
it.
still very drinkable.
I would drink this. If this
See?
was, yeah.
Look at
I
that.
I
mean-
tell you, that is not a great endorsement.
I think it is. When you're a Busch Light
It's
drinker
strange.
saying
I'm
you,
a Busch, yeah.
when
but
you're
you
a
know,
Busch Light drinker and saying you drink a craft beer, I think that's a huge endorsement.
Yeah.
I disagree.
It's
Okay.
true because Busch Light is essentially water.
It
It's
is.
like you take this and you just do maybe
Yeah, some ice.
just a little bit in some
Sure.
water, and that's what Busch Light
I
tastes
gotta
like,
just
and I
drink
love
water.
it.
And then after that, no.
Yeah.
That's what he's
I know.
told.
Or why don't you just water down your beer?
Yeah.
That's how you want it. Like just put ice in regular beer.
It's fine.
Right.
It's fine. It's all good. Okay, so we have Chris Hermansen, Julie Freund, formerly Julie Schmitz. I still call her Julie Schmitz. Here today, Julie is our siding exterior products leader.
Yes.
Exterior products leader. Recently, how new?
Like 3 weeks.
But not new to our company.
Not into the company.
How many years?
6 years.
6 years.
Yep.
And Chris from Wausau Supply.
Yep. I'm a regional territory manager, and my position with Wausau Supply is to work specifically with Drexel and their accounts and help them and help everybody grow their business.
We are truly your only account.
Absolutely.
So if you lose sleep at night, it's over Drexel, good or bad.
Exactly.
All right. And before that, were you with Wausau Supply or somewhere else?
No, I was with Wausau Supply.
And what were you doing before that?
Before that, I spent more than 2 decades working the big box home improvement retail side of the
Interesting, yeah. All of them, or do you assign them Menards or Home Depot, or is it all in one bucket?
No. I worked for one of those companies.
Oh, you can't say which one?
Well, I could, sure. Yeah, I spent 22 years working for Menards.
Oh, yeah, out of the Claire office?
I worked, that was part of my tour of duty. Yeah, and then I also worked a bunch of different stores for the company too.
Manager.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
I worked at Menards
Did ya?
for a year in Oshkosh, yeah.
All right.
Millwork, which was millwork and windows and cabinets all in one. I don't know if
Yeah,
that still
back
is
then
that
it
deal.
was.
Back then. Yeah, a
Right.
long time ago.
Yep.
Sundays and weeknights and storm doors and...
Oh man.
And treated like a number.
Well, it was actually, I can't say that necessarily. There were nice people there.
Yeah.
I was only part-time. I guess I'll do that story if we can. That's kind of a fun
Did you
story.
save big money?
Saved big money. Big gimmick. No, I did not make good money. Maybe, I have no idea what I would have made. $6 an hour back then? I don't know. Whatever that was.
Save big money, you know, like the slogan.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, I get their slogan.
He doesn't want to talk about it.
Yeah. Well, anything can be a slogan, right?
Yeah.
So just because they say save big money does not mean you do. People are just brainwashed by a million ads. Pfizer. Didn't say that out loud, did I?
What?
Yeah.
No, no.
Here we go. I haven't talked about COVID in like 2 years, or 6
That's
months.
all we used to talk about.
That's all we used to talk about. So, started at Menards, working at the lumberyard. Did not tell them that my dad owned a lumberyard, at all. I never told anybody that. And not that they would have cared necessarily, but again, Menards was smaller then, so maybe they would have cared. This is 20 years ago. 20, yeah, God, I'm old, old as hell. 25, it's 25 plus years ago. So, Oshkosh Menards, kind of interesting. The first time I walk in, they're like, hey, you need an apron, and you need a tape measure, and you need a utility knife. I'm like, cool. Load them up, and they're like, that comes off your first pay. Or I don't think I knew it came off my first paycheck until I got my first paycheck.
Stop.
I was like,
Yep.
shut the front door. No, so my first paycheck was like $3 because I was only making like $6 an hour. I got like $3 my first paycheck. I'm like, bro, you forced me to buy this stuff. I worked here 2 weekends and I made $4 because you made me buy this crap that I have at home. True story. That was brutal. That was my indoctrination. And then it was really funny. So my training was, and they were really smart. They're very, very smart at what they do there. They do a lot of things really smart that our industry should pick up on. So the training, again, it's retail. We don't do retail. We do primarily builders. The training was simply, hey, we don't have to overtrain you. This is a do-it center. They kind of know what they're looking for. But if you do need training, we have this beautiful signage that we have very smart people that did. 75% of the questions people are going to ask are going to be on this sign. So the training that I got was position yourself between you and the sign. Actually, the sign's perfectly done too. It looks like you're making eye contact, but you're reading the sign. And they walked away. And I'm like, that can't be real. So then at crazy, right, I worked the next Saturday, and this is fall, and I mean, I might have personally sold a dozen storm doors in one shift, which is a lot of storm doors.
Yep.
Every question that came up, 20-year warranty. Again, if you think about it, in any product line, people are going to ask 3 or 4 questions, and then they're going to move on unless they're an engineer and they already know the answer. And it's in the brochure, and they'll figure it out themselves. So I just go boom, boom, boom. They're like, yeah, we'll take it. They walk up to the counter. I also realized I did a lot of Andersen window sales. I never got trained in that. It was software. It was this new software, right? It was like DOS-based, 1,000 million years ago, like green screen. Like, I never asked people left or right if they wanted it to open left or right hinged.
Right.
I would just get a color, and then I would just click through all the drop downs. Because I realized they'll never find me if these are wrong. Because you go to the return center, right? Because I work rando shifts. They're not going to hunt me down when they're mad. They're going to hunt down the return area. That was one thing. And then my last story on Menards, and this is not about me, so hang on there on the podcast. We'll get somewhere. So the last training story was, I'm there like 4 months, and I'm like, I think I'm slinging it. I'm like, dude, I'm slaying it. And people are like, how do you know so much about this stuff? And I'm like, I don't know, I just learned fast. So I get a call into the manager's office, and I'm like, dude, massive raise. This is going to be beauty. No, but he sits me down, and he's like, hey, so you've been here a while? I'm like, yeah. He's like, how do you think things are going? I have not talked to this guy ever. I'm like, I think I'm doing pretty good. He's like, well, yeah, you are and you aren't. I'm like, dude, what? Like a bad breath or something? Like, I'm killing it. He's like, this is a do-it center, and we're getting feedback you're helping customers too much. They want to walk around, they want to browse, and you're kind of like hunting them down. And then again, I know I'm not working there long term, right? I'm like, oh, I got you. So then it was literally like the game, right? Like if I saw you 6 feet away, I was going to see if I could never work with a customer again there, which I think I effectively made happen. So I'm like, hey, you told me not to help customers. I'm good with that. I heard you loud and clear.
Yeah,
well, they said there's got to be.
Find anybody.
Well, they said, and that might be, again, this is a long time, and now it might be a staffing issue or something else, but their concept then, and maybe Chris could expand that, maybe not, it's a do-it-yourself center. People are there to browse and do their projects, and now, this was pre-internet, now bring up your phone and they'll figure it out. If they need you, they will hunt you down, but primarily, this is not full service, this is a do-it-yourself center. Is that fair?
To an extent,
yes and
yeah.
no.
And it was, I worked there until 2019. I left in 2019, and it depended on the area of the store as far as what
coverage
you
and
would
service,
do.
right.
And then, you look at the square footage of those places versus the staffing levels like you brought up, and it can certainly be a challenge for them in that environment. For us, at least in all my stores that I ran for the company, I had a different approach to what your manager had told you when it came to offering help to people. And it wasn't a matter of chasing them down. It was just, do you need help, yes or no? If you do, I will provide it. If you don't, I'll leave you alone.
Right.
that model seems to work pretty well for most people.
Yeah, and again, I might have been, I was 21 years old. Maybe I was over aggressive, but like seriously, I can help you.
Right.
Talk to me. So who knows what that was, but that's kind of my Menard story. So, anyways, welcome aboard. Awesome to have you. Excited about this one. So I think it's going to go a couple different places. So, Julie, we have to talk with you though. So you were with us 6 years.
Yep.
Before that, where were you?
I actually worked at Fastenal for a couple of months, and I was a bartender for 8 years. So
Yeah.
that pretty much sums up my work history.
Who interviewed you?
The original interview was with Todd Flitter, and then the secondary interview was actually, you were in that. I think Beth Pouch was in there as well, because I could have taken a couple of different, I was offered a couple of different, like the cabinetry position and then also an inside sales position. And it was kind of suggested that, the cabinetry position is a lot of math, you have to be very precise, that kind of thing. And then the inside sales position was more of a, you help clients, you answer phones. It's a lot of, construction workers. They'll come in and you'll just help them out kind of deal. And I was like, yep, I am not going to do math. I am going to help whoever walks in the door.
Little did you know.
Little did I know. I also do math.
Yeah, it's a lot of it's math. It's so much math.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're just not working in eighth of an inch increments.
Correct.
yeah, that probably was a wrong. But really, Julie's claim to fame forever, no matter how long you work here, no matter how amazing you are when you're here, will always be so on. And Chris, I don't know if you probably don't know this story either. Maybe you do. Do you know the story? You act like you know the story.
Let's see. I don't know.
So we have no human resource department. We're probably a company of 200 people. And I was doing that all myself-ish with Julie's help, and we had just hired this person named Kaylin, and
A different Julie, mind you.
Julie Korth, which would be our CFO now, but she didn't have a title then. So I would just hire people, kind of forget to tell anybody that I hired somebody, and they would just show up the next day or 2 weeks ago and be like, oh yeah, Julie's starting today. Like, let's get her paperwork and stuff and get things going. And Julie would be like, holy shit, I do payroll. Here's something. And then I'd be like, shadow this person, and that person would be like, I'm really busy. I don't have time to help them. And they'd say, okay, now what? I don't know, do something else. You'll figure it out. Your desk will be ready next week, because that's just how shit went.
Right.
So we had just hired Caitlin, and then we were just thinking, hey, maybe, and I hate corporate, and again, some stuff we'd have to do is corporate, I'm sorry, but it's a better way. It's not corporate, it's a better way. It's a process, which I guess makes it corporate, but also that's not a bad thing if we have input from everybody, right?
Right.
So Julie has her first day, comes into second day, like, how was your first day? Like, and I already had interviewed her, so I was like, I could read her a little bit. Like, I think she's a very genuine person. Like, she won't be able to lie if she wants to, right? So I'm like, how was your first day, honestly? I think you were like, good. And I'm like, how was your first day, honestly? She's like, well, kind of flustered, kind of frantic, not great. And then I'm like, and Caitlin was sitting there, who had just taken that HR role and now is our HR leader. And she went to school for 3D design. So again, not like an HR Nazi.
It's a different path.
Yeah, different path. But like, we're figuring this out. Like, what should a first day look like? So I'm like, you know what, Julie, it's cool. No one actually knows. Like, you don't have job responsibilities, but you can take a deep breath here. Why don't you work on, you had worked at Fastenal, right? Giant company, bartender. Why don't you work on like what a first day should look like?
Right.
And a first week. So that took you like a week or a couple days. Took her a week. Like, she kind of disappeared off the radar. Magically appeared back. We're like, what do you got? Went through it. Our onboarding, which we call the SHU, Supply Happiness University, which I think is amazing. In fact, we have talked to people around the country about what we do to onboard people. Came from Julie.
Yep.
Right on.
We probably still use 75% of what she came up with.
Yeah, and there was definitely, lots of tweaks and all that good stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And put the Drexel spin on it.
Yeah.
But
There's an evolution to all of it. But
Yeah.
to your point, though, if you don't do that, does she come back for the second day or the third?
Probably, but again, frantic, flustered,
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Not enjoying
clunky.
it.
right.
Yeah, which
Not
is most
having
people.
Any direction. Who do you talk to?
Which I think is most companies still. In our industry, I think a lot of companies still do that.
There is a lot of
Learn
there's
by
a lot of room
osmosis.
for improvement when it comes to establishing that structure and figuring out the whole training aspect of it for sure.
And I think some companies do good in some positions, like finance. But then sales is like, I don't know, just drive around with Chris for a week and learn by osmosis. You'll get it. He's really good.
Right.
Yeah, figure it out.
What the hell is that? Yeah, figure it out.
Yeah.
The hell? Did you get it yet? Well, it takes a long time. You'll get it. Get what? Right? Like, now what?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then you say you can't find good people in this industry. It's like, yeah, because we don't even give them a chance when they start. Like,
Right.
they have no chance to succeed.
It's not getting any easier, is it?
Right. For us, it's been great. We've been able to find really good people, but I can see why we get off to bad starts, and then they quickly kind of work out of the organization, right? 'Cause
Right.
They're like, this can't be real.
Right.
Do you like it? No, I didn't think it was. I'm not really cut out for it, right? They don't give you the real feedback.
Right.
So, or you end up being here for 5 years and making massive mistakes, and then getting screamed at, but you're like, I didn't know.
Right.
Right.
How was it? Well, you'll learn. Like, you just got to be here 20 years.
Right. You don't know what you don't know.
Yeah, you got to be
No.
How do you even know what questions to ask when you don't know?
you got to be a
It's
50-year-old.
struggle.
100%.
You got to be a 50-year-old white male,
Yeah.
right? And doing this for 30 years, and then
Right.
you'll know. Then you'll
Yeah.
know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
then it'll click. Don't
Right,
worry,
right.
you'll be fine.
But you'll be burned out and stressed, but it'll be great. But then you'll know for sure.
Point?
What?
Like if you don't have a reference point?
Right. Yeah, I have no knowledge of any of this, and I'm just supposed to learn by osmosis.
Yeah.
So anyways,
Exactly.
huge credit to
Thank
Julie
you.
for that. I
I
appreciate
appreciate
that. That was really cool. So, really crazy, and when I heard that, I'm like, I got to get Chris on. Chris gets hired by Wassa Supply, and he was told, from what I've been told, that your customer base was going to be who?
Well, when I initially started, I
Yeah.
had all of Southeast Wisconsin.
Which would be how many dealers?
63.
63 dealers.
63 dealers.
So if you work a 40-hour work week, you're going to give how much time to each dealer, right? It's a time management. It is not a. It is a. I've said it. I just came to the realization of this. 6 months, a year ago. There's an. It's not a. It's a finite number. Not infinite. Finite, right? Of how many people any sales rep in a business-to-business working relationship can manage. So to me, 63. So 2 years ago, 63 would have made sense to me.
Yeah.
My light bulb, which was I was actually walking a trail in Yellowstone last summer when the light bulb came on. I was like, oh, this is totally fucked. Because if Chris was good at 63, I'm going to give Chris 100. Like somebody will have the whole state. That was where my brain was.
Right.
And I knew it was wrong. And the light bulb came. I was like, no, take 63 divided by 40. Joel, support the customer. Each one of those lumber yards or suppliers get 20 minutes, less than an hour of your time.
Exactly.
Literally, per month. So either you're going to kill yourself trying to support them, they're going to be nothing but frustrated, or you're going to have a staff that supports them even though you're the face of it. Either way, you are effed. So that's how you start at 63 accounts.
Mhm.
Then what?
I like to think I did a pretty good job managing all those 63 accounts personally.
I would love to ask each 63.
Go for it.
No, well, again, but
You
no,
wanna
again,
call 'em up?
but again, let me spin it backwards, right? Like
Yeah.
every salesman says, yeah, they were all covered.
Yeah.
But I'm like, that's actually impossible. Because 63 divided by 40 means at most, again, 80-20 rule, some guys don't need any attention, but they still do, right? They should buy
Right.
more categories. Even if they're the smallest guy, they don't even call on them at all.
Yep.
You're literally, again, much less than an hour a month.
Yeah.
Right.
So there's no way they were happy. And that includes drive time. That includes 40 hours includes any drive time, internal time, training you might have, going to the bathroom, right? So like
Yep.
we're probably down to 30 hours maximum of customer facing. So you're talking a half an hour of each customer a month
Right.
of focused attention,
Right.
right? We're not talking, you're never on Facebook, you're never going to the bathroom, you're never taking a lunch. I mean, no.
Sure.
Okay, so anyways, you'd like to think you did a
Anyways,
good job.
I like to think I did a good job.
Right.
And-
You did the best
and
you could.
The people that I work for also think I did a good job. So the opportunity came, and I was presented with the opportunity to move from that position, taking care of those 63 yards, to come over and focus on developing the relationship solely with Drexel. And that started late last April, May, something like
No, like
that.
if you had a better podcast, it would just flash like solely with Drexel.
Right.
I know.
Maybe-
We don't pay you enough.
Maybe the producer can figure that out.
Yeah,
huh?
you would think, but whatever. You get what you pay for.
Exactly. So
No
at,
offense, nothing personal.
at that point, then it turned into, again, establishing relationships with a whole new book of business and a whole new group of people, as many people as possible within a large and growing organization.
Right.
And then also getting them to buy in and believe in me that I'm here to help them and only them. And then also go on and say, now let me help you sell things and let me help you make your
So how did
job
that
easier.
make you feel, Julie? Well, you just got the position. Yeah.
Yeah.
So as a customer, that felt amazing.
Correct. Yeah.
Yes, this is a Model 1, Model 2 quarterback conversation, if you haven't picked up on that, to all you podcast listeners and watchers of Drexel.
Mm-hmm. But it's just knowing that Chris is going to answer the phone call. You know, we're not going to go to voicemail. He can be to any location with any certain time frame.
Or
It's
literally,
going-
I
you
go
know,
to
it's-
inside sales because there's no reason to call Chris because it's going to take 4 days to get back because he's so busy.
Yeah.
Or he's going to tell me, you know what, you should really just call Tina in the office
Right.
because I really don't know.
Yep.
And I'm not really going to look into it. But I love you and I'm likable and I'm sure all my 63 customers like
Yeah.
me. Just because you're likable and you get along with them does not mean you're actually helping them.
Right. And it's more or less like, it just feels like you're almost a little bit part of the team. You know, you're more forward.
A lot part of the team.
Yeah.
Exactly.
No, that's the Model 1, Model 2,
Yeah.
like to the point where we couldn't live without Wausau Supply, right? In the past, and I'll pick on Wausau Supply, we've had reps in other distributors, we've had reps that we buy in spite of the rep because they have all of southeastern Wisconsin,
Right.
right? Or they have all of Wisconsin or all of the Midwest. There's no reason to call that guy. He's not never, or her girl, they're never coming.
Right.
So you buy in spite of them and you do workarounds,
Mhm.
right? Well, you should call me on that. Like, yeah, okay. That's happening at Drexel today. We're trying to change that culture where our Model 2 quarterbacks, our salesmen going forward, our representatives of the company on the customer's behalf have 3 to 5 accounts, 6 accounts. If it's a large enough account, 1 dedicated account.
Right.
So can I ask you a personal question? You do not have to answer it.
Sure.
How, of your pay plan, what percentage is commission-based?
20%.
Yeah, that's that 80-20 rule. That's what I was thinking too. As we move into a Model 2 quarterback world, right now it's the opposite, which means everything that we say it's Model 2, everything that we actually pay out is Model 1. So it's confusing, right? It's like, commission, get it, go, go, go.
Right.
I think we got to move to an 80-20 rule the other way, where there's a carrot on top, but it's not, you're not making a daily decision like, I got to put up numbers today to feed my family. And these guys make a lot of money, our Model 1 quarterbacks. They do. But it's still in their mind of, I got to go. I got to put more bread there, right? Like I always said,
Sell. It's,
yeah, it's sell. And like Aaron Rodgers, because he makes $10 million, well, he should be happy with that. No, he wants to make Tom Brady number, right? So
Exactly.
no matter what it is, it's sell, sell, sell. But when you say sell, 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 did you follow the entire process correctly? Are you doing the best of the customer and the best of the company? Did you actually understood what you sold? Is it actually in our wheelhouse?
Right.
Is it actually someone saying, hey, you know, to the best benefit of you, since you're my only account, I don't think this makes business sense for you or me. No, you just say, no, let's just figure, I'm going to grab that order, I'm going to figure it out backwards later.
Right.
Well, and it's that, and it's how do you feel at night too, you know?
Mhm.
Because sell, that's what you're constantly thinking of. That's what keeps you up at night. It's not, you know.
Help. Go ahead, sorry.
Right. No, well, that's exactly what it is.
Oh, for sure.
How do I make more? And well,
Yeah.
what about this? And oh crap, I forgot about this. And that's what you're constantly thinking of is work.
Yeah, and somebody made a
Yeah.
mistake, so it's going to cost me $80 in
Yeah.
commission tomorrow because they made a mistake. Even though I made $20,000 last month in commissions,
Right.
it still cost me $200, and that's going to, that's going to affect me. And again,
Right.
it's me versus mission of
Us.
supply happiness,
Yep.
us, core values, have some fun along the way, deal with builders you like to deal with, and just have a really cool career.
Yeah.
That's what we're looking for.
Right. More balance in the end.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah, core value balance, right? Because we've all went to 40-hour work weeks as a company. You work 40?
Yep.
Is that like a yep, Julie yep, or is that like a actually do work 40?
No, I'm I'm much more closer to 40 than I was 3 months ago.
Right, you're getting
Yeah,
there.
I'm
You're
getting there. Yeah,
right.
definitely.
And I just went to, for the first time in my life, I went to 410s a month ago. I was off yesterday. I still have a hard time saying that.
Yeah.
And I mean, I've been working 60, 70 hours a week since I was, 17, 16. So I say, people ask me how that is, and I said, I feel not like a caged lion. I feel like a lion that was in a cage that got let go,
Right.
right? After like 30 years being in the cage. Like that was me yesterday. I'm like, what's going on? What's up? What are we gonna do today? I don't know. Maybe I'll go back in the cage. Like I literally just wanted to work.
How
Right?
many
Like,
how many times did you check your email?
and that'll probably always me being as an owner. Like I'm always working, always not working.
Yeah.
So me checking email and me checking my phone and text is probably different than most people because that's all I've done since I was 16.
Sure.
How much did I actually work? I've gotten better at that.
Good.
I don't think I work more than, including phone calls, more than 20, 30 minutes. So even if I get an email, I'll read it, but it will not emotionally affect me, and I won't reply and start going down a rabbit hole. And you know that about me, Julie. I tell people not to email me. So and on my messages, right, I'm like, if you call me and leave a voicemail, it'll be up to a week till I respond. If you text me, it'll be within 24 hours. So again, text I don't mind when I'm off. And a voicemail is like, I told you I'm not going to check it for a week.
Right.
And the email is the same way. Like, I just don't respond. Like, there's like, you know, one thing you always have to remember, which not customer facing, like I would always help a customer out, but the team, your lack of organization does not necessarily necessitate an emergency on my part. Right, and that is hard to learn. You were a manager for a long time.
I used to have a saying that was, poor planning on your part does not constitute an emergency on my part.
Well, that is the actual correct saying. I just paraphrased. He's smarter than me, way smarter than me.
I would pull that one out pretty regularly on people.
Yeah, I can tell you have a calm attitude. That's a wise word, because for 20 years, and Julie's known me for 6, when you started, that was not my life.
Sure.
Your emergency made me a superhero.
Right.
Right. So I actually, as a pride, a honor point. I can help you.
Sure.
Let me show you how awesome Joel Fleischman is. I'm going to dominate this. This is going to be incredible, and we're going to do it right now. And I would grab that. I call them monkeys, right? I grab that monkey. I got to feed this monkey and that monkey and that monkey. And Julie's like, I can feed a monkey. No, I'll take that monkey too.
Yeah.
But you know what would happen? I give the monkey back, and it'd be half dead and starved and. Right? Not maintained, because I'm feeding all the monkeys, and I was super stressed.
Right?
Yeah, right? Yeah, right. And then Julie's like, no, I'm still not. This is no clarity. This doesn't help me at all.
How did you even do this? Like, I didn't grow from this.
I wasn't empowered. I didn't grow from it. You didn't even really take the time to understand my question or my concern. Like, that's not even the monkey I would have gave you. But now you think it's fixed, and now I'm still fucked, right?
Right. Very,
very normal. And a lot of, not just Drexel, but a lot of leaders feel that way. And it's that confusing mix of, so part of me taking off one day a week was leaving a gap in leadership too.
Sure.
Because if Joel's always there, there's never a gap in leadership. Gap in leadership empowers people to be great and forces them to figure things out on their own, and then they're awesome. And if you hire awesome people, they'll do that.
Right.
For sure.
So that's, where did we even go with the 40-hour work week thing? I don't know how that started.
Basically, you were down to Drexel only.
Right,
and then how that made everybody feel, and less stress and all of that.
The new producer, that's
I got
great.
it.
And I will say, when I heard
Keeping it between the rails.
I try to be the least emotional person when it comes to business that anyone's ever met. Like, I didn't think the emotions out of it. But I will be honest, when I heard, especially business relations, when I heard you were the only account, I was like, fuck yeah, I'm going to buy more from them. So again, for any of you Model 1 quarterbacks listening, or if you work with any, we need to encourage them to go that route. Because your customer is going to be like, hell yeah. So this is an interesting conversation. What has Wausau Supply told you that if Drexel just goes, yeah, we're YOLO, Joel's in Cabo, Julie and I are hooked up, and we said I got a divorce and she's got a divorce, and we're in Cabo, and
this is really deep.
We spent the whole shit on a roulette wheel, and we're done.
All right.
Do you need help? Are you okay?
It's just like
Blink twice.
Joel, not now.
What have they told me? Nothing, because that's not going to happen.
Okay.
So.
You didn't ask that at one point, though?
No.
I would have at least asked that. Not about the Julie and Joel thing. That's super awkward. I apologize.
That's getting really
That
awkward.
made you feel uncomfortable.
No,
that was not my intent.
That's one of those things.
It's just a random example. Any Julie.
Right.
If I'm doing my job right, and first of all, I know who Drexel is prior to me taking the mission. Exactly. I know
well, a formal stable base after this podcast, you're like, I gotta get out.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure. We'll see. No, it's one of those things where, as far as the company was concerned, I knew that I was dealing with a stable, secure company. And with Wausau Supply, we are also a stable, secure company. Both companies have a future plan. You're talking about
synergy, if you will, right?
Definitely.
Okay.
And you have the employee owner aspect of your company, as do we. So there's a succession plan in place with both of our companies. having that conversation as what happens if Drexel goes belly up, that's nothing that I have to worry about in my own mind. Because if
Julie worries about it.
Do you?
I think she worries about everything.
She's gonna drink.
I think I know Julie good enough. Like
but
it's somewhere there.
Yeah.
Somewhere.
If I'm doing my job correctly, I don't need to worry about that.
Right.
That's the way I look at it.
Right.
So,
Okay, that's a good answer. Okay, so this is a good one. Let's put him right on the spot.
oh boy.
I think this is a good one. You've now been with us how long? With
Just
us?
over a year.
Even that sounds good.
Us.
You're
Right.
with us over a year. You're Julie, exterior product leader, and you're Joel combined. You
Okay.
have the company for 1 week. What should we do as a company and
Oh, wow.
change it?
Ooh,
Like you'd
this
be
is a
like,
good one.
and again, it can be very selfish. You can be like, you need to buy this from us or whatever that is. Like you have to have observations.
The
Like I wish I did
magic,
that.
the magic wand question. You know, you could go a couple different directions with that. Operationally, I like a lot of what you guys do as
But-
a company.
It's like a Blueberry question.
But
No, I don't really have a but to that.
okay, well, okay, let's move on from that then.
However,
Well,
not
I'm trying to buy you
a
time here.
I
Yeah.
would say, if there was anything that I would change, like you said, you should buy this for me or you should buy that for me.
if you want to go selfish, yeah, do it. This is what you want.
I will go selfish.
Yeah, right.
Because I'm a salesman, right?
Yeah, right.
I'm
Well,
in it
I would
for me.
hope. I would hope you were going to go that way, so I expect that.
So, but no, I think that there's no reason that a company like ours with a company like yours can't go out there and take as much market share as possible and determine who is buying sticks from your company and all the low margin stuff versus who's buying the high margin stuff, and get those guys that are buying sticks and buying the stuff that doesn't really make a lumberyard money and figure out what we're going to do.
Let's go
to
deeper.
Get
Which-
those people buying.
Which product line
Yeah, what's the?
geeks you out? Yeah, like again, like you're like he
What's the
like he,
specific-
his dad owns a bar and he's a bartender, right?
Sure.
So like Badger Liquor says we need to get more market share, more.
Sure.
It's like, well, what? Like
Yeah.
Jack? We
Yeah.
talking?
Yeah.
We talking Tito's? Like where do you want to take
Right.
shots? Like beer? So where you want to go? What would you do?
Diamond coat siding, 100%.
So what? Okay, let's say 100 homes get built
Yep.
in this region, right, of Drexel, southeastern Wisconsin. How many are LP Diamond Coat, brand new homes?
That's a good question.
Shit, he should know that
That's a
question.
good question.
What do you think? What's your gut feel?
I'm going to say for Drexel homes alone,
40.
Both. Again, we're talking, though we gotta go market share, because
yep.
I don't care about Drexel homes, because I'm already selling it, hopefully, right? So, 100 homes get built, how many are LP Diamond Coat?
Within your footprint, I'm going to.
Right, so which would be the west side of Madison,
Yep.
40.
Door County, right, or even further, right, let's say Stevens Point, probably. Lake Michigan, obviously, Kenosha, basically.
Correct.
Okay.
I would say maybe 2 in 100,
Oh,
maybe.
damn, I was way off.
Yeah, that's like, doesn't that sound like, though, if
I
you're
said
like,
40.
if you're Shark Tank,
I
aren't
wish it
you-
was 40.
But honestly not. Honestly, I don't, even for the recession, which I think is coming very, very strongly, 2% market share? Like even in 2008, 1 million homes got built in Wisconsin. 1 million homes got built in the country, right? And right now we're building 1.5 million. So even if 2008 hits again, we're only going to go down 50%, which is actually brutal.
Right.
But there's still going to be 1 million homes built in our country. So the market share is 2%. So we just have to gain like, if we just gained like 10% of the market share, we'd be busier than shit. My dad
Exactly.
said, you know how much market share Drexel has? You know, a 5-gallon water bucket, right? And if you put a drop of water in it, like that's how much we have. Like we
Right.
don't even fill up the bottom
That's kind of a lot,
pool.
though, if you think about it, like the whole United States.
What?
Wait, what?
We're just talking about like where we sell at Drexel.
Yeah.
Oh. Wait,
Don't get global on me. I'm not 7 shit to Tennessee.
wait, what's the gallon then?
No, like, so the market share is, of all the homes built in southeastern Wisconsin, it's a 5-gallon bucket. If you put a few, we wouldn't even cover the bottom of it.
That doesn't seem like that much, are you sure?
Yeah, I'm real sure. There's 5 condos going up in my subdivision right now. None are from Drexel, I'm sure. That's in downtown Kewaskum, the epicenter of Drexel.
Right.
Should do something about that.
And so,
And none of them are going to be LP Diamond Coat.
But the thing is we have the opportunity
Yeah.
to utilize
That's
Chris and
exactly-
his wonderful knowledge and team up together
That's
to
exactly
gain that
it.
market share.
So if I'm a Model 1
Mhm.
quarterback, I'm too
Give it to somebody else. Gain more market
I'm
share.
too busy.
Too big. Oh yeah.
Right?
Okay.
Send Julie. Why does Julie and Chris
You were
should
getting
go
there. You were
Julie,
getting there.
Julie and Chris should go do that. I'm too busy.
Yeah,
Right?
send
Right.
it.
If I only have a few accounts. But that actually is holding
Yeah.
Drexel back. I have too many accounts. I don't
Mhm.
have the time to take Chris. But if Julie wants to go with Chris, great, and convert him, and then I can just
Yeah.
bitch about it because then I wasn't part of the meetings.
Right.
It's always a matter of quality versus quantity, right? And what do you want? Do you want the high quality accounts that are buying as much from you as possible and the high quality relationship that goes along with that? Or do you want a lot of accounts that are buying a little bit from you,
Right, or I always say it, I want to sell, I tell it right to builders, and I honestly mean that. I want to sell more to less builders, not less to more builders.
Exactly.
Mhm.
So category penetration is actually good for the builder too.
Mhm.
Less tire trucks, I always say, right? Like less tire marks on their job sites
Yep.
is always more profitable for them. That's a selfish reason, but it's also true. One point of contact, multiple categories, helps project coordination, helps warranty work, right?
Yep.
If the window's leaking and I did the offsite job with you, where we installed the windows in offsite and you bought the siding from me and the Tyvek from me, you don't need to call a lot of guys in.
Right?
Probably just me.
Exactly.
So that's a huge benefit to builders, and I can actually drive our costs down to every builder when they buy more categories from us.
Correct.
Yeah.
So there's a huge synergy, huge opportunity there to go and get Diamond Coat.
Mm-hmm.
So your biggest competitors right now are Vinyl,
Mm-hmm.
Hardy.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anybody else? Lychee is dead, right?
Yeah. Let's not talk about them.
Yeah, that's not really they're not really a blip on the radar.
Who else? Is that it?
I would say those are probably the two biggest competitors in different substrate.
Right.
You know, as far as,
Well, brick or something.
and then there's other LP pre-finishers out there
Oh.
that use LP Smart Side as well.
There still is.
So-
Do we still buy from them?
So we have access for, it's called Expert Finish. That comes directly from LP themselves. They have, 11 colors that they pre-finish. So it's a different paint, essentially, correct?
It's a
Yeah.
different finish, and then they don't, all of
But
our
that's it.
components.
We don't do like some bullshit
No.
spray
Correct.
it on
No.
bullshit thing.
No.
If anyone's doing some sprayed on bullshit thing on site, thank you, on site or some dude in their garage, don't do it. Like this is my pitch on Taylor Doors, this is my pitch on LP Diamond Coat. Do you buy a car raw to save money or because you can do it better in your garage? Why? Because it gives you a warranty, it's baked on, it fucking looks amazing,
Yep.
and they do
Right.
it in-house and they have a warranty. But you're gonna side your house and then spray the paint on when it's 38 degrees out.
Right?
What the fuck?
Mm-hmm.
Honest to God.
Or today when it's 85 degrees out with,
Yeah.
60% humidity.
There's
and-
dudes doing that right now.
Oh, I know.
Like absolutely, that's not under warranty. The paint doesn't work. It's not going to dry right.
Nope.
We could have did it under a factory. I've been to your factory. It's cool.
Yep.
Factory controlled setting, baked on finish. Amazing. Don't overthink it. And if you think you need a custom color, you fucking don't. How many colors do I have?
27.
Which is literally 20 too many. If you can't pick out, okay, so I watch Brain Games.
Mm-hmm.
You know what that at all? Netflix,
Yeah.
I think, or
Oh, yeah.
whatever.
Yep.
Right? So they did one on options. And they literally said your brain wants to go to the 100 flavored ice cream shop,
Sure.
right, initially, right? But the problem with that is your brain can only do about 3 options. So the magic sauce of Drexel that we try to do in every category is to show to the illusion that we have 100 flavors. But we're going to do professionally, and again, for your exterior people doing selections, and again, hopefully most Model 2 quarterbacks, you're literally just training to do selections, and you're supporting that, not being the selections person. But there's situations. But I'm going to pre-select 3. After I talk to you, I'm going to select 3 for you.
Yep.
Because your brain can only handle 3, because there's buyer's remorse, you're overwhelmed. I've been to 100 flavors. I never get the right fucking one. I'm always disappointed. I'm like, I should just buy vanilla.
Right?
What I do now at at ice cream shops, which I adore, I always pick on usually a girl or a guy, right? They're at college, and I'm like, does anybody order vanilla? Like, fucking for real.
All
You
the time.
do?
I
you really?
At
Yeah.
like 40 flavors, you get vanilla.
I get vanilla.
What the fuck?
A single,
Why?
A single scoop of vanilla.
You can get that
I
anytime. You can get the.
I know, but I just-
She's well
So-
aware.
Yeah.
So why? I gotta know this. This is like
You know, it's something. A lot of ice creams are either going to be too sweet or it's just too much for my palate. Where a vanilla, it's just
How do you know though?
it's
So do
like
you-
refreshing.
So
and
are there
cool, and
better
it's just-
are there better vanillas?
Oh yeah.
So what's your favorite vanilla? I've always
Just like a.
That's a good question.
Like a, like a brand, you mean?
yeah, like do you like Kelly's vanilla or there's this
Yeah,
vanilla?
they're
Like,
good.
what's your favorite? Like, if you have a go-to vanilla shop?
Honestly,
a shout out.
is it Breyers? Bears? It's the black one.
yeah, yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
right.
yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, their French vanilla is really good.
As good as anybody. Any.
It's really good. Yeah.
See, if we're making a pie,
Mhm.
Breyer's French vanilla always goes with the pie.
Wow.
But other than that, we're always
You're a foodie.
we're getting something. No, not really.
Oh, pie, Breyers, yeah, a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
A little more
wife
than
lo-
me.
My wife loves to bake. Thank you.
Okay, yeah.
But when it comes to
You should probably bring
when it
some
comes to
in.
ice cream, it's gotta have stuff in it though. I can't just eat just vanilla.
No.
I'm the dude that always gets the weirdest one, and then I'm totally disappointed.
See?
Like, I probably love mint chocolate chip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would be like if I had one day to live, I'd probably get that. I get that like 1 out of 20 times. I'm always like,
Well, yeah. Try
that
something
one.
different.
But then I do the sticky thing, like the little samples. Also my little shtick, you know, my Joel being funny shtick. I also have like 4 samples, and I'm like, I don't need to order anything. I'm good, just to be funny.
Well, just walk out.
Just,
Yeah, like,
just be that guy.
I mean, I
See you
always
later.
do. I don't like, you know, I'm pretty full now, honestly. Like, that was pretty good. Like, does anyone ever do that?
You ever go to Cops down in Milwaukee?
Yeah, sure. So we had the Brookfield store was only probably
Oh, right.
7-8 doors down
Right
from
down
Cops,
the road,
right?
right down Blue Mountain.
Not a huge fan. I don't get it.
Yeah, me
Really?
neither. I think the burger's a little overrated.
I don't know. I didn't get it.
Is it the fact that it's custard and not ice cream, or the taste, or
I just didn't get it. I just
No?
didn't get the
It's just-
shtick.
oh,
You don't have any
that's not so
seating
bad.
areas. I just didn't get the
see?
shtick.
I have their app on my phone, and I'll look on their app and see what the
Whoa.
flavor is. And if the flavor's right, I will drive 20 miles
Oh.
one way to go.
I'm
get
not
my
a.
Cops custard.
I'll be very clear. I'm not an ice cream guy, so that
No.
doesn't geek me out at all.
That's too bad.
That doesn't move the needle.
For me, that stuff is that's where it's
I
at.
eat large. If anybody knows me, I eat large volumes of food daily and constantly.
Sure,
So I try to eat healthy because I eat a ridiculous amount of food,
sure.
That's
which
why
I don't
we get
always eat
along.
healthy. What?
So that's why we get along so well. It's just
Yeah.
the food.
It's just
Eat
like
healthy.
I love eating.
more. Yeah, I
Right.
work out constantly. I'm still, not like 3% body fat because I just like eat. Like chips, like a big
Probably
chips
like
guy.
33% myself.
I don't know what I am, but I'm a chips guy. I like,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Blue Door's just crushing it right now with these baked donuts they're coming out with. On July 9th, it's going to drop.
Oh.
And they're making out samples, and I'm like, oh my God, there's this. So they're doing these, I'll prep it, is they have these, they're doing mini donuts, which is really cool. And then they're doing, what would be one? They're doing like Fruity Pebbles. They're doing like cereal flavors. So they kind of roll in the cereal, using them as sprinkles. So they're going to have Fruity Pebbles.
Nice.
When is
Mini
this
donuts,
again?
baked donuts. They're not oiled. July 9th. They're only making them.
July 9th,
Talk about
everybody.
supply and demand for you salespeople.
Nice.
They're only
Plug,
gonna
plug, plug.
they're only gonna do them on Saturdays and Sundays. They're only doing 12 dozen each day, and then when they're gone, they're gone.
So I'm gonna have to drive up here on the weekend then.
They're gonna be bad. I'm telling you
Get
guys,
some
they're gonna be
donuts.
badass.
All right.
Amazing.
Okay, so this one's super quick. We're already at that time. Crazy. So fine. That's crazy. We got so much done. This was a blast. I say that about everyone, but this one really was good.
Wow.
Is-
Thanks, Joe.
so
Making
my-
me feel special.
They're all good, but you're my favorite. Everyone's my
next
favorite.
week.
Right. You're my favorite child. They're all my favorite. Last question I always ask everybody. You have a big, giant billboard. And everyone's going to see it. What's it say and why? Ask it every episode.
You want me to go or you want to go?
I can go. I totally prepped for this, just in case.
A lot of people do.
Yeah,
I mean,
of course I do.
It's like a normal thing.
gotta do
Um,
some homework.
And
I
I,
get billed for it.
and I definitely, I had a couple of different
Like you
ones.
Googled it? Like you stole somebody
Oh,
else's?
no,
Or you prayed on
so
it?
my first
Like
one.
what's the prep?
She went to the successories page
Yeah.
and just
Wait,
started
no,
reading
you
Like
want
motivational
what's your
posters.
prep work? Oh, Pinterest. That's
Oh
gonna be
yeah,
your go-to?
Pinterest.
Okay.
That's how I find all my Instagram
just
quotes.
Yeah,
types
so that's like your inspiration.
Wow.
Totally.
That sounds
No.
that sounds really genuine and
I call it case, so that was actually from Festival Foods. So it's copy and steal everything.
Yeah, of
Like
course.
never, like Mark Cuban says it too. Don't keep looking for the next good idea.
Mm-hmm.
There's way too many ideas in the world. Be the person that can execute an idea.
Yeah.
Sure.
So you know hot ham sandwiches,
Mhm.
like on Sunday mornings.
Yep.
So Festival Foods stole that from a little bakery in La Crosse where they started.
Really?
And they're like, should we do that? And they're like, sure. And then they just, like you said, Drexelize it. They just put a little spin on it. dominated, took it everywhere. Now everyone does hot ham sandwiches on Sunday. The
Interesting.
bakery that still did it still is successful,
Potato, like,
so it's not bad on them. They just owned
Right.
it, copy and steal everything.
And Festival's footprint
Not
far
copyrighted.
exceeds the
right.
little,
Yeah.
the
Yeah, and
little
they did it
bakery.
a little different and put their twist on it and
Yeah.
made it work for them. So again, I think everyone should do more of that instead of saying like, what should I do? Like
Right.
Google it, search it. The information's everywhere.
Yeah.
So good for you. Good on you.
So anyways, so I ended up going just with my first initial thought, which is it's very simple, keep going. And the why behind that, I mean, it's fairly obvious. It's simple, gets to the point. There's a lot of shit in this world that we can't control, and what you do is you just keep going.
Right.
We'll all get through this in the end.
Right. Or you won't, you'll die. But
Either way.
One way or another.
Well,
But no,
You'll figure
you
it
said it's
out.
very
It
doesn't
simple, but
matter.
I love
Yeah.
it. Like keep
Yep.
going is like kind of like the Nike just do it, right? But even more, like just do it means start.
Yeah,
You mean like don't like commit.
yeah.
I just talked to my kids about that. You know, it's discipline. My youngest son Marcus loves goals and loves a carrot, but he kind of wears out, right? I said that's how that is. Like motivation is needed daily, but discipline equals your freedom. Discipline will get you through hard times because I'm doing this even though working out. I'm going to work out even though I don't feel like it today.
Right.
Right.
Like the first day you don't feel like it and don't work out, you failed. Like you have to just keep going.
Exactly.
Show up, do the work, shut up, and push through. No matter what because life's going to be hard. So I
Yeah.
love that one. It's good. That's
Under
good.
Armour has one like that. Like, their new one is like the only way is through. Looking at new commercials and stuff.
Yeah, just badass. Keep
Pretty
going.
solid.
That could be our hoodie. Keep going.
There you go.
We need like a little tagline. I think
Hashtag.
our marketing should be like we did Lions Not Sheep. Is that we should be doing a little more. Give the merch a little something something, and kind of like Under Armour does, a little something something, then I come back with the Drexel Supply Happiness.
Yeah,
We'll see.
All right.
write that down.
Got it. You got that? Did you write that down?
Yeah.
Okay.
Perfect. I would say mine is it doesn't cost anything to be kind.
That's a good one.
Julie's like,
Oh, shit. I know.
You're like, no,
Tear.
let me change mine.
Yeah.
Let me change mine. Me too. That one.
But
Cut, let's redo this.
that's kind of my external view of everything. Internally, it's don't quit. So I don't give up on things very easily.
Let's go back to the first one.
Yeah.
It doesn't cost anything to be kind. Expand on that. What does that mean to you?
Well, it doesn't. They always say every day you wake up and you choose your attitude for that day. And it's the same thing. I can choose if I want to be kind and helpful to people, or I can choose if I want to be a jerk and not helpful or rude or whatever. And these are all in the choices that we make, regardless of what direction our day is going. If that phone rings or somebody's standing in front of you and they need help, you have to choose to be kind. It doesn't cost anything. It doesn't hurt to be kind to people.
Right, and I a lot of times go back to Mother Teresa, which I didn't know a lot about her, but I've done some reading on her, and it was all for her. It was all about the littlest things. She's like the way to make the difference in the world, the way to change the world is do the littlest things. Hold a door open for somebody, smile for somebody,
Right.
and that will actually make the biggest impact, which is so hard to think about because you want to make this splash. You want to make this, especially in today's culture. And spiritually, right? Like that's what the devil's telling you. Like you need to be materialistic. You need to make a splash and a wow. And Jesus, God, Mother Teresa has said, no. It's like the littlest things. Be kind. Look people in the eye. Shake their hand. And I think I've said this before on podcast. Ask people twice how they're doing. Julie, how are you doing? Good. Everyone's got a stock answer.
That's,
Right.
Yeah.
No,
Julie,
exactly.
I made people cry that way, not intentionally, but I'm like, Julie, how are you? And they're like, not great.
Right.
Yeah.
Right? Like, and no one, you can tell no one stopped to literally be like, Julie, how are you?
The first time you ask the question, you always
Yeah.
get the generic, I'm good.
Right.
But if you ask them again, that's when you can actually kind of look into
Yeah,
somebody's eyes.
wonderful.
And look into their soul, figure out what's going on.
Yeah, and help them, right?
Exactly.
And, smile at the world smiles back.
Right?
So not only being kind helps them, it helps you. Because if you just choose to be kind, you'll now see a different side of the world.
For sure.
And you're both in sales, and a lot of people listening, and we're all in sales in some degree, is also you can't take your last conversation into the next conversation.
No.
Correct.
And that is so hard. That's so hard because you just got out of a meeting and it was not good. LP Diamond Code failed miserably, and what we told the guy was going to happen did not happen, and shit hit the fan. and I got to make the next phone call, and it's got to be positive.
Right.
And here we go. Right. And people say, well, I'm not in sales. I don't like faking it. No, you're being a different version of yourself. That's
Right.
okay. You're picking yourself up. You're dusting yourself off. That's why salespeople in Drexel, that's why we need constant motivation and inspiration, and why we have to support each other and tell each other, you're doing great. It's going to be okay.
I tell myself that I'm not being fake, but I have to have a short memory. So if I talk to you about something, and 30 seconds later, my phone rings, and it's Julie. She has no idea where I'm at in my
Right.
headspace.
Right.
And it's got nothing to do with whatever she's got to say.
Right.
So,
And I always say, like, you're not being, as far as personality-wise, you're not being fake. Like, when I'm around my boys from high school, I'm totally different than I am with my grandma who passed away, right? Or my grandma's, right? Well, are you being fake? No, I'm being
No.
different versions of myself.
Mhm.
So there's different versions of Joel, and that's totally okay. That's not being salesy Joel. Oh, wow, you're really...
Right.
Right.
No. That's not sales. It's just being authentically who you are in the moment and the space. That's good.
100%.
I love you guys. I love you so much. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me. I
Episode
appreciate it.
58. Thank you guys. Episode 58 in the books. Peace.